Hi, this is Marino from Instadeq. In this video I will show you a new feature, which is the MQTT source. MQTT is a protocol normally used for Internet of Things. That means usually sensors sending status updates, and you can consume the information from MQTT broker, which aggregates all of these events from sensors. And one feature they have is called MQTT over WebSockets, which allows to consume those events that are spread into topics directly from a browser. So I have two topics now. One called sensor 1. I have to authenticate, and it's sending sensor updates in CSV format. So I configure this and click apply, and now I'm seeing the events as they happen. They have three fields: time, when the event happened; ID, which sensor generated this event. These are sensors in a building. And the event type, which is what happened, if somebody opened the window or the door, if somebody closed it, if somebody entered or left that window or door. With this information, as you can see, we are seeing the last one. That's because by default no, we're seeing just the current update. Now we want to do an aggregation, so we may want to count how many events per sensor we have. So we count. There I paused to make it easy to work with it, but the sensors are still updating. You can see it here. So we want to count by ID and event, and here you can see that only the last event is appearing with count 1. This is because by default the eviction policy of an aggregation is every time there's a new update it clears the aggregation state. This is the default because usually when you're processing a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet you want to clear on each new version of the file because all the data is in the file itself, so you want to clear the old aggregation. But in a stream of sensors you may want to use different eviction strategies. The other one we can use is evict above size limit, which is it will keep the last 1,000 in this case entries on the aggregation, and when they go above 1,000 it will remove the oldest one. And of course you can change the number 1,000, or you can evict all the events, all the entries that are older than hours, 1 hour in this case. Of course you can change it, but you can specify a limit, because if you don't know how many entries you have, you don't want to use all the memory in your computer. You can set it really high, but you decide what that. And with this we are aggregating all the sensors, and we can see the counts, and we can create a chart. Here we can say we want to see the event count by ID and event, and we want a heat map. This allows us to at a glance see that, for example, the main entrance enter is the most active, followed by star floor to leave. And we went from a really technical and low level thing like a sensor sending status updates from a building into an MQTT broker to a visualization without writing any line of code and directly from the browser. And as I mentioned before, usually MQTT devices don't send data as CSV. They may send it as JSON or binary. So let's see. In this topic I have the same data but as JSON, and we see that's the same, but in this case the format is JSON, so it looks more like a tree, but the task will be the same, just drag and drop, create the aggregation and the chart. And in this case CSV auto detects types, and JSON doesn't have the data type, so it's displayed as a string. We can transform it using the formula language if we want into a date object, and it will be the same as before. So this was the introduction of the MQTT source on Instadeq, and as you can see you work the same as you would with a CSV file. The only thing we had to change to make it a little bit different is to change the eviction strategy of the aggregation, but it will be the same if we were doing pubnub instead. We need to change the eviction because usually each update gives you one item and not a list of all the updates, because it's a stream of continuous updates. So if you have any question, just contact us on social media, and bye.